It's entirely possible that as soon as I finish speaking here, I'll go back to my desk and discover that President Trump has fired 5 more people. It's just as possible that I'll go back to my desk or wake up tomorrow and find out that he hasn't gotten rid of anybody, despite the sea, the avalanche, the tsunami of speculation about more staff shakeups to come. And I was really struck by a column on Axios by a terrific reporter, Jonathan Swan, because it had the most candid headline I've seen in quite a while about how we journalists try to do business. And it said, in Trump world, nobody knows anything. Swan goes on to say, he writes that all we really know is Trump's in the mood for change. There's a long list of people he's been fed up with for a while. But as for when they might go, who might replace them, Trump floats ideas all the time, and often nothing comes of them. So I interviewed Jonathan Swan. He said, it's incredibly challenging to cover this White House because even the top people think they may know something, but it turns out that they don't, or the president changes his mind or whatever. And this is a challenge for journalists. Now, although I have observed many times that the whole question of who's up and who's down in palace intrigue is kind of a media fixation and we ought to focus more on policy, when you look at just the last few weeks, it's impossible to say this doesn't matter because in that short space, Hope Hicks resigned, Gary Cohn resigned, Rex Tillerson was fired and replaced or will be replaced if he's confirmed by Mike Pompeo. Larry Kudlow from CNBC brought on to replace Cohn as chief economic advisor. And this matters because these people deal with policy and with managing White House affairs and interactions with the president every single day. In fact, Cohn left because of a disagreement on tariffs, and Tillerson not only didn't have any chemistry with the president, but they disagreed on just about everything. Korea, to the Jerusalem embassy, Iran, Russia. So, I have great sympathy for the journalists who are trying to find out what might happen. I've done stories like this in my career. And at the same time, all of this stuff, sources say H.R. McMaster could be out within the hour, or the VA secretary, Shulkin, could be out, or this one's coming in, or who else is on the list? Oh, John Kelly, chief of staff, he may not survive much longer. He might be gone by the weekend. And Mick Mulvaney might replace him. So, Fox and others have been reporting this as well. The president yesterday said, there was a false story. He didn't say which one. It's very false and exaggerated, and no changes are imminent until he decides the changes are imminent. Because you recall, this is just 3 months ago, the president said it was completely fake news that he would be getting rid of Tillerson and replacing him with Pompeo, which is what he has just done. So you've got to take all these stories with a grain of salt, with many grains of salt, in part because, the president may not know what he's going to do. He often talks to people and he vents and he says, what would you think if I took this one out and replaced them with so-and-so? And this sort of spreads and it becomes rumor, it becomes speculation, it becomes media chatter. But remember, nobody knows anything.